right, so here we are, another episode of the Anchor Up podcast. Just want to thank one of my sponsors, Got Your Six Culture. They are a t-shirt brand that supports first responders and military, and you can check out their products at www.gotyoursixculture.com. So today we have the very, very fortunate pleasure, and we're very excited to talk to the one and only Christina McAfoose. She's a mortgage loan officer for Mutual of Omaha. She works with United Real Estate, works with some of the top agents in the Houston, Texas area, and we're just really excited to talk to her today. So, that being said, Christina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into the mortgage business?
Okay, well, like you said, my name is Christina McAfoose. I'm a loan originator for Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. I office out of the United Real Estate office in Houston, and I started my career in real estate industry a while back in construction. I have a construction background, project coordinating, hands-on. I have flipped some homes, built some homes, sold them. I thought that my path was going to be as a real estate agent. And as I was going through the schooling and starting to learn more about the mortgage side of things, I realized that my calling was to go towards the mortgage side versus the listing and selling side of it.
So, school to be an agent made you want to go to mortgages?
Yes.
That's
Given my
interesting.
lifestyle, I have a very busy lifestyle. I am a mother of three boys, four if you count my husband. And so they always have me on the run. And so I needed to make sure that I had the flexibility to be able to work my hours. If I needed to work early mornings, late evenings, or if on occasion weekends and stuff of that nature, that and the mortgage industry was more fitting for my family's needs at this time. And then just as I dialed into it and everything, I realized I was much more interested on the numbers side and assisting with making everyone's dreams come true financially versus just showing homes.
That's interesting. So you did just talk about you got to start in the real estate industry. So you started off in construction, you were working doing that. So what kind of construction work did you do before you became a mortgage loan officer?
New home construction. I worked for a major home builder and also had a small home building business for a while back in the early 2000s, building and designing custom homes.
Oh, okay. So was that more of like project management or you were the builder?
When I was more of like the superintendent, I guess, when I was doing it personally, and then professionally, full time, I was a project coordinator. So I handled and processed payroll, permitting, things of that nature, and making sure that all of the superintendents for the home builder had what they needed to get the ball rolling on the new construction.
So just like at your house, you herded cats at work and make sure the work got done, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how it is at my house too. It's all right. So being into the construction industry, is that what made you want to go look at doing something else in real estate? Or was it just time to move on from there? What made you want to change out of that?
Back in the early 2000s, it just came. I had some opportunities to go in a different direction. So when I went from, oh, my mind just went blank. But I went from a major builder to smaller custom. Then I kind of fell more into the like more number side of it, and so I kind of went into taxes and CPA. Kind of, I guess we could say when the home building kind of ended in the early 2000s, 2008 ish kind of time,
Oh,
and
yeah.
but
I
it
remember
still
that time.
I always had was drawn back to the real estate side of everything, and I kind of was like, all right, this is. I tried to dabble in like some other things, accounting wise, and I knew I wanted to be back in the home industry side of things, and then it just took me a little while to figure out exactly what my calling was, and I think I found it. I really like what I'm doing now, and It's interesting. It keeps me busy, keeps me on my
Mhm.
toes, and the communication that I have between the borrowers and the realtors and the networking. It's right up my alley.
That's awesome. I think that a lot of people, in some cases, don't understand like the relationship between what a realtor does and a lender does, right? So you just brought up that you're extremely busy. You like the pace of it. You get to work with a realtor. You get to work with the borrower, right? So I think what some people don't realize is what the lenders got to do behind the scenes sometimes is what makes or breaks a deal. And so I'm sure that's part of the excitement, right? You get to get people out of some sticky situations, but you also get to come through for them. I think in some cases more so than a realtor, because without you, the house isn't bought, right?
Correct. I mean, it's a very rewarding career, because you can take someone who thinks that they're not able or in the right position to purchase a home. I can take a look at their situation. I can make recommendations, give them a timeline, work with them, and figure out, okay, are we ready to do this now? Do we need to wait 3, 6 months, maybe a year, whatever it is that I can help them along the journey, and it's not just a wham bam done over kind of deal. It's a lasting relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you do a good job for people, you also get a good opportunity to get referrals afterwards, right? Meaning that if you go talk to Christina, she's not going to be like throwing everything at you. She's going to walk you through it, right? Which I've seen you do firsthand. Kind of walk through people through it. You help them understand uh, what's going on, what they got to do. Sometimes people don't like to hear it, but that's the part of the reward, right? Helping them understand that, yeah, you might have this issue right now, but if we fix this or we fix that, then you should be good to go. So that's always great to see. And it's, you know, you click a button and you're like, oh, that did work. So, it's exciting for that. So currently, you work over with United Real Estate Agents. Um, so talk to me about if an agent's out there listening to us right now, what kind of what do you do that may be different than somebody else? Like what kind of things do you do to help agents, or what can you offer them that can help them, forward their business as a brand new agent, or you're able to take someone that's got an experienced team or they have a lot of production under their belt and project them even, higher than where they are now.
Well, I there's with Mutual of Omaha Mortgage, we have a lot to offer to our real estate agents in terms of marketing at no cost to them. We have list reports, we have co-branding opportunities that we can offer, and it's everything that we cover that we offer to the realtors at no cost to them. All I do is just accept their invitation, and everything is just laid out for them. It saves them a lot of time with marketing. I'm very personable. I like to communicate. Sometimes I could be say that I over communicate sometimes. But I always like to make sure that everybody in a transaction is always kept up to date, whether it's the listing agent, the buyer's agent, or the buyer themselves. I want to make sure that everything is running as smoothly as possible. If there's any questions, I want to answer them as soon as possible. I have an amazing team that works with me, so that if it's something that I have not by chance encountered before, someone on my team has, and I can go to them and quickly find an answer out and let everyone know what to do in case we come upon a situation.
No, that's good. So when you think about marketing for real estate agents, let's just talk about the term of the word for a minute, right? So if I'm a real estate agent, I'm trying to market my business and I'm trying to get my name out there. The first thing that a real estate agent does is this, trying to figure it out. I have no idea what to do, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that they can do, things that we're doing right now, you and I. Just grab a microphone, plug it into your computer, and start talking about like what you offer and what you do and how you can be different, right? A lot of times you don't have to even talk about where you work or who you work for, what you're doing. I think a lot of agents try to rely on the branding of the company that they work with or the companies of all the vendors or the partners they have. I think what real estate agents need to figure out, and you can tell me your opinion on this, is it's all about you. People don't want to buy a house because you work with X real estate company, right? I know that a lot of times the real estate company is going to tell you that when they're recruiting you. You know what I mean? But the reality is the client's going to do the contract or the transaction or the business deal with who they like, who they relate with, or who they feel is going to give them the best service. And so real estate is one of those interesting fields where you have to like self promote like no other, but you also got to be able to back it up, right? So do you think that brokerage is more important to where you're at, or what kind of things do you think a brand new agent can focus on when they're trying to market themselves and put themselves out there?
Well, that's kind of a hard question to answer. When it comes to a brokerage and a real estate agent, I mean, it is important for them to find the brokerage that fits them best and what that has to offer and what, what their goals are. But also at the same time is to connect with like-minded professionals. So with the lender that is willing to be there for them to help them and assist them and to help assist them in growing their company as well and to work as a partnership.
Yeah, for sure. I think they should do that with everybody, right? They should not only reach out to lenders, but they should have an insurance agent. They should have an inspector. They should have uh, handymen, general contractors, electricians, roofers, right? They're going to have that. I try to equate sometimes a real estate agent is a Rolodex to get a transaction completed. Now, the real estate agent is very, very important in the transaction because they're the first connection with the client, right? The person that wants to purchase or the person that's looking to, get into a house. So they're the first impression. So the client's going to take their recommendations and they're going to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think some real estate agents could stand to learn that that's what you are. Like you're connecting people to do something and you're not there to monitor or make sure that everybody does their job, right? And so I think that also is kind of brokerage specific on how you're taught how to do that. So sometimes agents think, you know, the biggest one is when it comes down to money or it comes down to what the borrower is getting for their loan file. Nothing specific, but they'll call you and they'll say, "Hey, why is this, high, low? I don't understand why this is happening." And I try to wish that we would explain to agents better. Well, it's none of your business, right? Like you're not paying the mortgage note. You didn't give all the stuff right. Like I'm trying to help you get to the end of the deal. They're just impatient, very, very impatient. And so it's really hard for newer agents to compete in that space because you have a lot of agents that, just like you just said, they found the right brokerage or they found the right person to help them. And so they're like bulldogs, right? So that's why I'm asking, if you're a brand new agent, how do you get over that? In what ways do you market yourself? Or in what ways, like for you specifically, how can you help someone market themselves to be someone that people can call in the marketplace to do business with them, right? Like I'm sure you talk to a lot of brand new real estate agents
Yes,
that
sir.
are just learning, they're just getting out there. What kind of tips do you give them?
I just, gosh, this is where I'm gonna like joke, freeze up here. I just help them and give them I walk them through anything that I can informational wise provide
Hmm.
them. I provide it to them. When they ask me questions, I help. I help them no matter what it is. I think that since I do have experience in real estate and construction, that they can lean on me for some like one off questions that most realtors might not you know have all the time. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have like list reports, and so when it comes to marketing and getting their name out there and having professional flyers to present to their listing agents, I'm sorry, their
Well, yeah, the
clients,
seller of the house,
yeah, the
or
seller of the house and
uh,
everything.
yeah,
It's one of those deals where I'm able to take that stress away from them and take it off their shoulders, and they have it there at a click of a button. And financially, it doesn't affect them financially or anything of that nature. And so it really helps kickstart their career, because a lot of times when you're first starting out, you don't have that extra income to go and hire professionals to do this, that, or the other. We have the professional platform already there for you at no cost.
right. I think that's what a lot of real estate agents do, though, right? The barrier to entry to be a real estate agent is very, very low. The barrier to entry to get in means they think they're going to jump into this and it's going to go amazing. They're going to do a great job. It's not going to be hard. Like, they're going to have to give people away because so many people want to work with them. Then they realize that they've spent a lot of money to do a lot of things, that you should be that top producing team you see in your brokerage. That's the point that you start spending money. So, that's a good point that you make. Is like finding someone like you. I can sit down with them, answer their questions, even willing to sit down and go, do you know how to put together a professional Facebook page? Did you know that you can also link a business Instagram page? I haven't done it yet, but do you do TikTok? Do you do Snapchat? Um, you know, Things like, even in the mortgage industry for you, do you have a Zillow profile? Do you have a realtor.com profile? Does your brokerage offer, or do you pay for a website? So, those are the simple things they can do. And I think that a lot of agents don't realize there's so many free tools out there that you can utilize in order to be successful, that you don't have to pay all this money right away. And so, the biggest tool that a real estate agent has, brand new, they want to make some appointments and do some deals, it's right there. I mean, everybody has how many? 1,000 people in your phone?
I have a lot in my phone these days. Yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot there that they can do. So, what kind of tips would you give a real estate agent that's looking at like new construction, right? Like, you used to be in that industry,
Mhm.
and if an agent has a client that's buying a new construction home, what are some things that you would maybe mentor them to, or kind of talk them through, that like, hey, as this process progresses, these are the kind of things that you should kind of look out for, or these are the things that you may want to ask questions on to be in the best interest of your client?
Oh gosh, it's been a hot minute. A lot of things have changed in the industry.
Sure.
I would just always, I'm very much of a don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't understand, what's going on in the house or the process, ask. If you show up, they do a walkthrough on the house, or there's contractors doing something. Don't be afraid to communicate with your superintendent. Don't be afraid to have your realtor ask, hey, is this standard? Is this not? And then when it comes to like the cost of things and stuff, question it. I mean, don't be afraid to ask questions.
I think that's a very good point you make there. Today you walk into those new subdivisions and they tell you, "Oh my gosh, you just came in, and like 5 minutes ago, I got an email with a price increase. I'm sorry. You got to pay 10 grand more." And what's crazy, people are like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's what I got to do. And you just made the point like, well, I mean, if I just walked in 5 minutes ago and you just changed it, I'm only going to pay what the price was when I walked in the door. What you have on paper is what I'm going to pay. The builder
Right.
may say
And
no.
we don't want to sound stupid by asking questions, but I mean, that's how you learn. That's how you become, knowledgeable about something. Just ask. Trust me. There's
Yeah.
If you think you have a stupid question, someone else has asked a dumber one.
Oh, for sure. And I'm guilty. 100%. Guilty all the time. But the problem is that those same people that you talk about that don't ask questions through a process, whether it be buying a house, buying a car, getting a loan, doing a mortgage application, getting home insurance, car insurance, it doesn't matter. Pick a service. They don't ask questions because they just assume that's how it's supposed to be. And then they find out it's not supposed to be like that. And then what do? Trash everybody that they worked with, that helped them. They put bad names out for people because today in society, you're right. We don't ask questions to make sure we understand, but we also love to make you look bad. And because I didn't ask, and I don't know that that's the policy, and I don't know that's how it works, it's your fault because I didn't ask the question, right? And so, like, I don't know why people think that you should give them all the answers that they need before you even ask it, right? So I know you're married and I'm married, right?
Mhm.
You know what your husband can't do?
A lot.
Well, I mean, now that you put him on blast, you want to go through the list?
I love him dearly.
Okay. He can't read minds though.
No, he cannot read minds. No, and women are guilty of getting frustrated. Can we just expect y'all to know what we're thinking?
It happens sometimes. So you walk in the room and you're like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You should already know." I should already know.
What should
Um, Sorry. I took the blue pill this morning, not the red one. I'm still stuck in the matrix. My bad. Sorry.
I do?
It just happens, right? So let's talk about more than work.
Okay.
More than work. So I know, because I've seen a lot of it, that apparently you like to do a lot of outdoor activities. So you guys like to go camping, you like to go hunting, you like to go fishing.
Yes,
So
my family is very outdoorsy.
where is your like most favorite place to go do those things? Whether it's camping, whether it's hunting, where it's fishing, where is like your go-to place?
Right now, my go-to place is near Galveston, Crystal Beach area.
Hmm.
We have a little bitty piece of land that we like to take our camper, go camping. I love the beach. I love to search for shells, sea glass, things of that nature. I could do that for hours on end. Just walk up and down the beach, watch wake up early in the morning, watch the sunrise with my coffee, watch the sunset with a cold drink in my hand. My boys, I love to fish. My boys love to fish, and so we kind of in the spring and summer we fish and go to the beach. In the fall and winter, we are blessed enough to have be able to go to our friend's ranch and help manage and go hunting there during hunting season. As you can see the
Nice.
deer behind me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Obviously, everybody knows that you're a pretty good shot. Or did you
Thanks.
not shoot those?
That one I did not shoot. You can't see the one. The one that I shot is actually in front of me. And then for a while there, I we have two nice mounts in our living room, and for a while there, I had the bigger one between
Oh,
me and my
really?
husband. Yeah, he didn't let that last very long though. A little bit of competition there.
That's funny. That's funny.
But I can outfish my husband any day, and
Oh,
all during
really?
weekends. Oh yeah, I
So maybe
understand.
there's a future in tournament fishing.
Yes, I definitely have the patience to do it. Unlike them, they get bored.
Well, we're dudes,
Yeah.
and our brain does not allow us to stand there for that long doing the same thing. Every dude's got ADD, 100%.
Yeah,
Can't
that's all.
stay
That's
still.
called fishing, not catching. So you got to be patient.
That's true. It is called fishing. Um, but fishing, I I've tried. I've tried. I've thrown that line out there and I've sat forever and I felt like the fish were laughing at me. They were going, this idiot thinks we're gonna bite that. You're just like the third, 10th, 100 person today, smarter than you. And then you look right down the way, maybe 100 feet, 10 years old, killing it.
Mhm.
And I look down, I'm like, I'm leaving. This is so ridiculous.
This is embarrassing. I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. I know we took a trip because we're from Louisiana. So my father in law had a charter trip. So we went down into the Gulf of Mexico, down by Boothville, Venice, which, if you look at the map of Louisiana, that's like the very tip. If you drive down there and go further, you're in the Gulf of Mexico. So we took a charter trip down there. We went red fishing.
Oh, fun.
Man, my son killed it. But the fishing guy that was running the boat kept, telling my son where to throw the line. And the guy we had was amazing. But what was really funny is there was points in there like I didn't care. I'm not a fisherman. I caught a few fish. It was cool. My son had a good time. I was happy. But his grandfather was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you, Cole. You're doing a great job." And I'm like, "Are you?" Because we weren't catching anything. I think my son caught like 18 redfish that day. Couldn't keep all of them. They were massive. They were huge. We got to keep a few, but it was just funny. But it was cool because when you go out there, you could see, the pelicans flying around, and you see what's the most insulting thing a fish can do is jump out of the water
Right by your
really
line.
close to where you're fishing. And it happens all the time. Just like the hook's right there.
It's like
Just
they're
go
laughing
grab it.
at you, like, haha.
Yeah. Which is funny to say because I'll play golf. And a lot of people say that's super boring.
Yeah, no. My hand-eye
But
coordination when it comes to that kind of stuff it isn't the best.
yeah, but I feel like I'm doing something the whole time. Even if I got to hit it 100 times to get it into the hole, you know, it is what it is. I'm still doing something, not just standing there.
I gotta say, I don't think I've ever actually played a round of golf. I played a whole lot of putt putt in my life, but not actual golf.
Top golf is awesome. You ever been there?
I have been, but I've just been like, and had my kids have hit, and I just sat back and watched, and
Drink some beer.
exactly.
There you go. Absolutely. So what else? What else do you guys like to do for fun? What are the things are you into?
Um, we love live music at small venues.
Oh,
So Texas country, avid fan. So we were always going to the local venues here around the Tomball, Magnolia, greater like Houston Woodlands area. To see live, upfront, personal, storytelling type concerts. I
so
just went to
how
one last night.
how was your how were you affected by that when you couldn't go see that for a long time?
It was a bit irritating, but it's just one of those deals. I adapt and overcome, and it's But as soon as they started opening things back up, we were back out there.
Yeah, so did you realize that you liked it as much as you did after you couldn't go do it? Or did you was it something that you guys just did all the time because it was a hobby? So you're like, "Oh, it's available, we're going." Or did like the we really like to do this come around like when you couldn't do it anymore?
It's I would say it's like a hobby. It's kind of like our date night. Like our kids get
Okay.
mad because we don't ever take them with us. We're like, okay, this is our date night, and we do it like in the middle of the week, and it's a really enjoyable experience. You get to know the artists personally. You get to meet them. They tell stories about how they came to where they're at, and the songs that they've written and things of that nature. So you learn to connect more with the songs
Yeah.
and the meanings behind them and how it affects you and how it affected them.
So I know that the secondary answer to that question is 100%. We figured out how much we missed it when the pandemic came around because kids didn't go with you. You guys are probably like,
Yes. I was like, dude, it'd be nice to be out listening to some music and not just,
yeah.
listening it to on our phones and hanging out in the garage with the neighbors, and which is fun too. But to get out and meet new people and experience it in person, it's just
Oh, yeah,
you
for sure.
can't replace it.
I remember I don't go to very many concerts. My wife is the avid concert goer. So is my daughter. My wife's been to a ton of concerts, from when we grew up. She went to amazing concerts, actually. But I remember when we lived in Miami, I bought tickets to a concert. We went to the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, and we went to see Rob Thomas, right? So we were thinking Rob Thomas, Matchbox, like he had have a band and all that, right? Absolutely not. It was one of those things that you were saying. It was like a storytelling deal.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Thomas with a guitar, singing his songs, telling you why he wrote them, what they mean. And I was like, man, like I had mad brownie points that day. I had no idea. I didn't know it was going to be that way. But then we've been to other concerts, There's a few people that we like to see live, and there's a few that we want to go see live, no matter where they're at. But
I
music
gotta
is
say,
definitely fun.
recently, one of the most fun. It was, I didn't get to meet him, but small venue, kind of like up close. It wasn't a storytelling deal. I got to see Snoop Dogg.
Really?
Yes, at a basically at a little restaurant that is typically a Texas country venue, and Snoop Dogg was in the great city of Cypress, Texas. And I told my husband, I'm like, what are the odds of Snoop Dogg coming to this little bitty town? And I was like, we have to go. And so we got to go, and he was DJing and saying a couple songs, and that was an awesome. Didn't know it was going to be on my bucket list. Add it, check it off, kind of event. It was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I heard that he's nice too, right? Like he doesn't run around and he doesn't have that celebrity persona that people know about, right? Where he just doesn't want to talk to
It was
anybody.
it was awesome. I mean, and we see things from say Snoop Dogg to older like John Conley. We've met him. The Bellamy Brothers are my favorite. I've seen them so many times at the local venues. To some of the last night I saw Daryl Dodd. I love me some Daryl Dodd. That was a lot of fun last night. I got to do that with one of my agents and the Griffin Realty Group. They invited me to go and have dinner and watch that concert last night, and that was a lot of fun.
Was that a mom's night out?
No, I took my husband. Yes, and
Oh, so that was a date night.
yes, and I also got to meet an author of a book, which I'm gonna pick up and start reading. It's gosh, I have to cheat and look at my phone to tell you what it was
That's
what it's
okay.
called. But he was part of the team that went and helped pull Marcus Luttrell and everyone out. And he's written a
Really?
book about it, and so it was really cool. I got to meet them last night, and
What's the book?
it is. Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah, look that up. I'm interested. I've read that book, The Lone Survivor. The next
It
book I'm
is.
gonna read is his other one, but
It says "Leave no man behind."
and who wrote it?
I gotta remember because it was so loud. But I met him. But it's Tony Brooks and Bob Welch, and it's the
Okay.
untold story of the Rangers' unrelenting search for Marcus Luttrell
Yep.
and the Navy SEAL lone survivor in Afghanistan. So, but
Nice.
it was like we got to meet them briefly. We sat across the table from them, got to talk. My husband did most of the talking with them and stuff like that, and then I was talking with the ladies. So
Yeah, 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 for sure. That's how it works. But you already know that if anybody's gonna get the hookup or be remembered, it's gonna be the lady. You know why? Because their ladies will be like, their wife was so nice, and they'd be like, whose wife?
good
Like,
for
oh,
them.
that lady we met the other day. The husband forgotten.
There's like I thought I was just me and JC at the concert. What?
Yeah. for sure. Well, that's awesome. So that's a good book. So do you like to read a lot of books?
If I would love to have time to read more often. Usually, I try to set aside just maybe 15 to 30 minutes before bedtime.
Yeah.
That
What kind of
that
books do you like?
I like romance novels, of course.
Oh, goodness. Well,
I
can't
like
recommend you none of those.
yeah, but like exciting. It's been a while since I read a romance novel, but they're kind of like more of a, like not straight romance, but like adventure and excitement, and and then if there happens to be like romance that comes involved and all that, then of course, I mean, you gotta have a little bit of a chick in me,
Yeah, I guess. You got to get
gotta
around
have
that
this.
shooting guns, fishing, out doing the boys. There's got to be a little bit there, right?
Yeah.
Got to be. When I was really young in the Navy, we were on a deployment, and one of the ladies that was in with us, she was older. She might as well have been like our Navy mom. She made sure we didn't get in trouble, even though half the time she was out drinking with us anyway. But she was the one that was like, "Gonna get in trouble." I'm like, oh, you're right. But I saw her like at her room or in the area on deployment, and she was reading a book, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Right? She goes, "I'm I'm reading," almost like you ignorant dude. Like I'm reading.
So
I was like, "Oh, people still do that for fun, right?" So she went and grabbed a book, and she was like, "Well, read this one." And I was like, "I'm not reading that book, right? I'm not reading." Well, she gave me a John Grisham book. I don't know if you're familiar with John Grisham. Like he's got those movies, The Net, The Firm, Pelican Brief, from back in the 80s, 90s. Well, he writes a lot of books that are based on law. They're, mystery, or there's some kind of court case going on with it, and they're trying to figure out what happened. So the very first book I read that she gave me was The Street Lawyer. And that one's not a movie or anything, but I read the book and I couldn't believe that, like, 10 pages in, like I'm reading this book. And then she would see me. I got the damn book in my hand. You know what I mean? She's like, "Oh, so you read." And so then that deployment, she gave me a few, and now I've got like tons of those books, man. So I liked reading those. And that really, it kind of got me into reading. So I liked reading that stuff. And then obviously being in the military, I have a ton of military related books. I really am very interested. That's why when you said that you met those guys that searched for Marcus Luttrell and they wrote a book about it and the things they went through, I'm always very interested to read those, because not that I've ever been in their position, but I think it's really important to like kind of learn about what it takes to just understand what's going on there, like what they had to do or what they had to go through, and things like that. So I've read tons of those books. A lot of books written by Navy SEALs, a lot of military in general books. Leadership books are good. There's one book though that I would recommend to you read, and I can get you a copy if you want. And it was probably a book, and you're going to laugh when I tell you this, because you're going to say I don't do this at all. And that's true, but not all the time. So when I worked at a real estate brokerage, there's this book called The One Thing. You ever heard of that book?
No. Mm-mm.
So this book is called The One Thing. It's a productivity book. And this book teaches you to just focus on one thing at a time, right? Uh, to multitask, people can do it, but then you're not efficient. So I have a copy of the book. If you're interested, I'll bring it to you and
Definitely.
you're going to read it. But it says concentrate on one thing. You should have time blocks of, you know, your week where you time block your one thing, right? So I don't know. For
I would say
you, let's
that
say your one thing is I want to go fishing every week. So like you would have an hour a week where you go fishing. Nothing gets in front of that, right? And so it's crazy.
I used to be really good at that, but as a mother of three boys now, half the time I'm just struggling to keep my head above water.
You have 100 things. Yeah. But it's a good book though. It helps you kind of put things in perspective a little bit. I'll get you a copy of it if you want. It's a really good
Yes,
book.
definitely. We can swap. I'll get you a copy of this book, and then you get me that.
There you go. That's good. That's good. It's definitely a good book to read.
Yeah.
So what else? What's the future hold for you? What are you trying to do in the future? What kind of things can people learn about? Any events you got coming up? Do you have anything that you want to promote? Anything?
Ooh, well, I'm going to be working on rolling out a series of small, like mini training sessions. I'm going to be doing a mixture of some in person and then some on say Zoom type webinars on just real short, just like mortgage 101s, uh, some VA, like real quick VA. We have our VA seminar, but just like some like really quick one-on-ones, trainings, how to co-brand, this, that, and the other. It's rolling it all out starting in April.
Oh, really?
So I'm working on this now, and then I'm going to be blocking out days that I'm doing in person, and in days, and it's going to be because I don't want to be overwhelmed and take up too much of people's time, and so it's going to be very small group, if not one on one, so that everybody is able to get their questions answered, and I'm able to do it in a timely manner.
Well, I think you want to. What you're trying to build is really great, and I know you don't want to take up too much of their time. Be mindful of your time,
Yeah.
because if you're doing it one on one and you're doing a great job, people are going to want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So, I I would recommend small group sessions.
Mm-hmm.
5 to 7 people. Do the thing. You have your time limit. It's done. If you have more questions, they can email you and then you can get back to them. But again, being mindful of that time. But all that stuff that you can teach them is highly valuable. Highly valuable. And are they going to be in person at the brokerage you work at?
I'm working on that. Some will be at the United Real Estate office, which would be for the United Real Estate Texas United Realtors. But I will also be doing others at different locations, Tomball area, the Woodlands, just trying to reach out and catch the different areas that are convenient for the in person. I'll be working with some title companies. And so some will be, at the title companies and their conference rooms and things of that nature. So I'm still, getting all those locations down.
Nice. And so, do you have a place that people can go look and see when these events are coming up? Are you creating some kind of calendar
Yes, it's in
or
the works. Hmm.
it's in the works?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, cool.
Unfortunately, not. I don't have it yet to share, but yes, it's in the works.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's your one thing. Just get it
Just
done.
one thing. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciate your time today. It was fun talking to you. I hope you had fun too. I
I
hope
did.
that
Yes.
you know people got to know something about you, something about what you can do. But before we get off, I want to make sure that people can get in touch with you. So if you could give them name, email, and or phone number and where the location is that you work so that way they know how they can contact you.
Okay. So verbally, or how do you want me to
Yeah,
provide
you can
that?
do it verbally.
Okay. Well, Christina McAfoose. My email is cmacafoose at mutualmortgage.com. Probably easiest way to get a hold of me would be my cell phone, which is 832-453-8118. And then from there, I can respond to your text or phone call with my complete contact information. Um,
And we are more than just in Texas. So I just want any real estate agent, consumer, anyone that's listening, that phone number works to be able to help her help you as far as home loans go in multiple states in the country. So if you want to ask if she can help you, best thing to do is call or email, and then you'll get a hold of her, and obviously she'll take care of you. She's really good at what she does.
I'm pretty much available 7 days a week.
Oh,
I was on spring
I
break
know.
last week with my kids. Still work the whole time.
I know.
I'm a bit of a workaholic, so
Uh-huh.
at baseball games, this, that, and the other, if you shoot me a text, give me a phone call. If I can't take your call, I'm going to respond via text and let you know, hey, can I
Yeah.
help you? Can't talk right now. I've been taking phone calls at 9:30 at night on a Saturday just to help somebody because I know with the market today, making offers, getting them in on time. I'm happy to call. I had to call a small builder and let them know that, hey, I was working with a VA a veteran, and they were going VA, and he was a little unsure about it. So I reached out to him and just let him know that, hey, they are pre-approved, everything is good to go, and made him feel a little bit easier. And they ended up winning the bid over someone else that had a similar offer. So
Well, see,
I went the extra mile.
that's the main point of all of it. You're available and you're ready to help. And so that's what people need to understand. There's a lot of people that don't answer the phone. I'm probably guilty of that. I probably don't answer the phone a lot. It
I
just
get upset
depends.
if I return to my phone and I have a missed phone call. I'm like, oh no, I missed. And I'm typically calling back as soon as possible. If I'm in a meeting and my phone rings, I'm going to respond. If I can text a response to let you know that I'm in a meeting, and I will be calling you back shortly.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, they have your contact information. If you have a question for Christina, give her a call. She, again, very good at what she does. She will take care of you. She makes sure that your clients' needs are met. That's her top priority. And if you're a real estate agent out there, her second top priority is making sure the deal closes. Why is that? So that you all can get paid. Just saying, that's what's important.
It's a win-win.
Yep, win-win. So if you have any questions, reach out to Christina. And again, I thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And I hope we can do it again soon.
All right, awesome. Thank you again.